Today we are going to talk about assistive technology, specifically hand controls in an aircraft that allows those with disabilities the opportunity to fly an airplane.
According to the article Pilots with Disabilities by Tom C. Weiss, the International Wheelchair Aviators began in 1972 as a monthly fly-to-lunch group of 4 aviators with paraplegia from the Southern California area. Their mission is to assist pilots with disabilities in the desire to fly through providing information concerning the Federal Aviation Association's medical requirements, flight schools, and hand controls. They have become a worldwide organization of people with disabilities, as well as non-disabled pilots who are interested in flying and aviation. Let's turn to the Institute of Aviation at the University of Illinois to ask what they believe assistive technology means.
I think assistive technology would be some type of adaptive technology to help people with disabilities be able to continue to do whatever their job or recreation.
What I think of when I think of assistive technology is anything that helps a person do their job. For example, Siri on a smartphone or a glasses. It assists you to do what you need to do.
I'm not really sure what assistive technology is. Alright, I think that assistive technology is something that is created by man that basically aids people in whatever that they're doing, whether it's a physical thing or something like a hardware or a technology with a smartphone or something like that.
That means some type of technology, a fabricated technology that can help someone with a disability do something they wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
It sounds to me like assistive technology is developing items that help people do things. So in this case, John was not able to fly without the hand controls. I mean, without those, he would not be able to fly.
I was going home from the university and I managed to tangle horns with an 18-wheeler and ran over my back leg, over my back legs, and ended up with an amputation of the left leg, a right knee that wouldn't heal and wouldn't work right, so they fused the leg. So I'm kind of handicapped, I guess.
One of the things that's kind of interesting is after John had his accident, he wanted to fly again, and Dr. Taylor was instrumental when he was here in getting that process rolling. And him and Rick Weinberg came over and talked to me about installing the hand controller, modifying it to fit in one of our newer Archers, and so we started the process. And I had help from Jay Bongiorno, who did a lot of the paperwork and the welding, and got to give him a lot of credit for doing that. And a lot of other people helped as well, including the FAA. I know Civil did some stuff. I'm probably missing somebody, but there's a lot of people involved, and it was all just because everyone wanted to see John fly again.
Well, it's kind of a long story. When as a kid, I built model airplanes and was always interested. This was right after World War II, and see airplanes flying over, and it was kind of magic at that time. From the time I became coherent after the accident, all I could think about was getting back into flying again. How am I going to continue to fly? So we explored different ways and different ideas. I think online we found that there were people who were flying with disabilities.
Jay, who worked in the shop, developed the hand controls because after John's accident it became evident he wanted to fly again, and we wanted to do whatever we could to help him do that.
As you may or may not know, with an airplane you've got to use the rudders, and you use your feet for that. Well, with a straight leg and no ability with a prosthesis to apply pressure to the rudder pedals, I had to come up with a way to use my hands.
So he studied the problem, came up with a design, and created this particular hand control. So once we were pretty confident that this was going to work, then we had to start going through the approval process with the FAA. I don't remember, it's been, a few years, so I don't remember the exact process, but I know we had to meet with an engineering person, and we had to fly to Ohio for that. And he had to look at all the specifications about the metal that was used and the strength and the integrity, and because there's a concern about the hand control failing during the flight, and if that happens, then it's a real safety issue.
The hand control attaches to the right pedal on the left side, and it simply provides leverage to operate the rudder pedals as I would with my feet. I move up to push up, makes the left pedal go in, the right pedal come out, meaning the aircraft is going to turn to the left. Okay? To push it down, operates just the opposite. If you're familiar with flying an airplane, you use one hand to operate the control stick or the yoke for climbs, descents, and turns. Use your feet for the rudders to provide anti-torque and yaw control. And the other hand has got to be for the throttle. Well, if I'm going to operate the rudder with my hands, now I've got to have free hands. And it gets kind of exciting.
But it's pretty simple. It snaps over the rudder pedal, and there's just one screw that you have to make sure it's attached and secure. It's spring-loaded. I got to see him come into the shop after closing hours, after he got to feeling a little bit better with his therapist. And he'd get up on one of these wings. Actually, it was right here. He'd come in and he'd practice getting in and out of the airplane, and sometimes he'd fall off the wing, but he never complained one time.
I have hand controls installed in my car, which allows me to operate the throttle and the brake. And we can look at that because the car's parked right outside. Okay, this is the hand control from the car that I talked about. And all it is a rod that applies pressure to the brake pedal. So my wife can drive this with these installed, and it's absolutely transparent for a normal person. To apply the brake, you simply push forward. It incorporates a throttle control, which is also a rod that attaches to the foot feed, and it's operated simply by rotating the up or down.
So how can we incorporate John's technology to children and young adults wanting to learn to fly?
The Young Eagles is a non-profit organization sponsored by the Experimental Aircraft Association. This organization allows children ages 8 to 17 to experience their first flight with an experienced pilot. According to Effectiveness of Assistive Technology in Environmental Interventions in Maintaining Independence and Reducing Home Care Costs for the Frail Elderly by William C. Mann et al., relatively few AT devices are covered by third-party payers, nor are the services paid for by the insurance. Since devices such as the hand controls are inherently expensive, organizations such as the Young Eagles allows people with intellectual disabilities find a flight, to have their first experience go in ahead and aviation follow the without link, having to worry about covering the expensive costs of
and then
flying.
select your state. Click the Go To button. And then if you scroll down, you'll see that in the Champaign area, David Boyd is the contact, and he's a member of the EAA Chapter 29, and he can be reached at this phone number.
Unfortunately, aviation is a disease, and it's incurable.
Why can't we use the equipment designed for John Suppick and apply it to the Young Eagles project so that children with physical and intellectual disabilities can fly and experience the magic of flight?